for
here we can see
Magnus.
also, again, we have
Again,
Princess Lama and probably Prince. We don't know the name, but
yeah, to play the move 1 for Magnus Carlsen, which is 1d4.
she is spending so much time in the playing area from the second round, probably.
Okay.
And arbiters just...
Yeah.
It was funny of
So
him.
Magnus pressed the clock in a funny way, and he did play his d4 move.
It was already played, so he just pressed the clock.
So he did not return the pawn back.
No.
As for instance.
And on the screen we can see Jeffrey Borg talking to the royal family. And she is not going anywhere. She wants to take a look to the... And she's responsible in the female chess in Saudi Arabia. And also she's wearing very nice dress, I can see. And shoes too. And later on, I think we will have some interview with her.
Yeah, it's in the making, so maybe, in the break after this round,
our friend,
maybe we'll have...
Ahmed Adli interviewed her, and we can hear what she's thinking about the tournament or about the chess. Guess the number of the matches between Anand and Carlsen.
Yeah, if
Don't
you
look,
check...
don't look.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Just guess the number.
I don't know, must be around 60.
Oh no, they have played 100 more.
100, more than 100.
Yeah, 5 games exactly.
105 games between Carlsen and Anand. I believe
yes.
Carlsen is leading.
Classical games is also interesting. Carlsen leads 10-8. They have 41 draws. And in rapids, we have Carlsen again leading with 14-10, with 22 draws. A lot of games between them.
Yeah, so the other pairs for round 9, apart from this one, the leader Vladimir Fedoseev faces one Hao. Fedoseev has the black pieces. It's another Berlin with rook e1, very quiet, so I think Fedoseev is simply planning to hold the draw. And which is a good thing to do.
It's good results also. I was in the playing hall when Wang Hao was approaching the board, and he was not going. He was going to the in the playing hall, not on the stage, and his opponent called him like, no, come here.
Come here.
It was really funny.
Yeah, so that's the
some
first,
boards are separated.
The first game Wang Hao will play on the stage, so he didn't expect to climb as high as board 2. Right, as for the position in Carlsen Anand, I think it's pretty much a theory. Still one of the fundamental lines in Nimzo defense, this e3, bishop d3 variation. And I think that's the key position here, where black can play c5, right? Black can actually do many things. Yeah, c5 being the main move, right?
Main line.
D takes, bishop takes, c5, knight to f3, and here is the... Okay, it's actually developed a little bit further. So after knight d7, c4, rook ac8, rook c1. White intends on having so-called hanging pawns, right? c4 and d4 pawns. If black takes on d4, white recaptures with the pawn usually. Rook fd8, putting the rook in the center, and Magnus, I think he quickly played queen b3. So now, how many games it was? He won 2 games in 27 moves, right? Before making this draw in the last round against Peter Swidler. So now there will be kind of a critical point. So if he doesn't win by move 27, then Anand is safe. I would say like this.
But now in this case it's Anand. Let's add him some extra moves.
On board 3 it's Andrei Yosipenko, the young player from Russia who has won against Karyakin, facing Peter Swidler. Board 4 is Jan Nepomniachtchi against Bahadur Jobava. Board 5, Richard Rapport against Levan Pansulaya. Board 6, Rauf Mamedov against Giga Kuparadze. So in 3 consecutive boards, we have Georgian players.
Three flags in a row, and that makes my heart very happy.
Okay, let's see how they will perform. Jobava is of course the leader of Georgian chess nowadays. I feel like. But those other guys, especially in the rapid chess, they are also very strong.
Pretty strong. Like we have Grand Prix in Georgia, blitz and rapids, and Pansulaya and Kuparadze, they both winning these tournaments all the time.
Right. So if I just come back to this game on the very top board, just to see what.
We should G4.
I thought like a few moves were played, but no, Wishy was thinking, and then he goes to G4.
He came up with the idea of threatening mate in
3.
2 moves.
Yes, not a bad idea indeed. So G3 needs to be played.
Because in case
maybe this.
H3 is a terrible blunder because of
a bad move because of Bishop F3 and Queen H2. That's right. In some positions. But it's not here. In some positions, something like Rook FD1 is the idea, actually.
What do you mean to take?
It's like to take with. Of course, I have to take with the bishop not to get mated, and sometimes it's even possible to sacrifice this pawn and then to go King E2 and try to use the H file. But I believe not
in this
here.
case. Yeah.
Believe not here.
Carlsen played G3 and Anand quickly came back with
G3
Knight F6.
Yeah, and the knight simply returns back.
Yeah.
So
now this bishop got this diagonal.
Yeah, so he pays 2 tempi, right? So he went with the knight and went back. But the pawn on G3 is not what white is happy about. He would actually prefer to have this pawn on G2. And now Carlsen starts thinking. So it's actually a good thing in rapid. To achieve something small, like weakening the white king, and then let your opponent think. So I like the idea of Wishy Anand here. What white should be doing? It's probably clever not to take on d4, because it will be somewhat easier for white to continue. Magnus has played Rook F to d1, I guess, and then Wishy goes to e4. Knight e4. Once again, he allows d5. This is something I don't really understand, because I would actually think that d5 is a good move for white. But one player allows it, the other player doesn't want to play it. Maybe Magnus will end up playing d5. Anything on cross table, Kathy? So we know Fedoseev is in the lead.
Sol leading with half point ahead of Wang Hao, who is just facing in this round, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 players coming with 6 points, and also Carlsen and Anand on the screen we have, they are facing each other, and we have a lot of players with 5 points.
5, it's wait, I'm starting to get confused. 5.5.
5.5.
5.5. So but impressive. Fedoseev, not only he had a good start, but today as well he is playing very good so far.
And also, as far as the prices in this tournament are very high, it's only not top 3 or top 5, but also top 10 is reasonable prices in both sections.
Yeah, that's why it attracted so many strong players this tournament. Talking of strong players, shouldn't we check the other boards? I don't know. Yeah, Magnus just made the move. I'm curious to see which move he has played. Knight went to e1. So he
91, 96.
prepares f3, f4 maybe. Knight goes to d6. So
This knight jumps a lot from f6,
Yeah,
g4,
four-
back to e4.
4 moves with this knight were 4 last moves of Vishy Anand. And in total, this knight already moved 5 moves out of 18. So it's like every other piece.
So far, center is controlled by black. That allows Anand to make these maneuvers with the knight.
Yeah. And still, yeah, d5 now, I'm still not sure if it's good. It might be the move. But yeah, how good will be, let's say, for white to play d5, and in case of e5, I think yeah, if black doesn't play e5, I might even want to take. I don't know.
And actually, this is the only case when Carlsen has less time than his opponent. It is only 1 minute, but still, this is something.
You mean today?
Yeah, not today. In every round, he has.
But in round 1, he had.
No. Okay, then today was a correct word. He took a pawn on.
Took on c5.
C5.
Really? No, he played d5.
And maybe.
Now, taking on c5, I think it's
No,
always knight takes, and
yeah,
it's
it's
a good
very
knight
bad.
for black. Yeah.
It was d5.
d5, yes. And now I'm yet to understand what Vishy had in mind when he accepted this position, because now, I mean, if you don't do anything with black, like waiting, then white will play f3 and e4. Vishy takes, c takes, unbalancing the situation even further. c4, queen to c2. This is where it starts to be surprising, because yeah, queen c3 looks like a natural move, threatening mate, but Magnus goes queen c2. On the second board, has to be said, Van Hao went for a very quiet variation against the Berlin, but maybe he will get some slight advantage. He has a bit more space against Fedoseev. And Van Hao always was kind of a mysterious player to me. I mean, he's very strong, that's obvious, but it's really hard to a lot of space on the queen side. He potentially has 2 connected passed pawns here. White has a mass of pawns in the center. Knight to f4, queen to e7, bishop g4, rook c7, and the last move was queen c3, threatening mate. But this queen is going to be attacked with knight a4, right? Therefore, Vishy plays f5, bishop goes to f3, and now knight a4, knight takes b2. He can take this bishop. Let's say this. Queen probably goes away, or even play c3. Maybe c3 is a good move. I'm not sure if. I'm not sure where the bishop goes, where the queen goes. Maybe queen e5 is better. Yeah, maybe. Let's say. No. Can he do this?
Nice.
No.
Knight b2.
The rook. No. Check. Bishop takes, and then the rook is taking. Yeah. If king takes, it's good, but. The rook can take.
Rook
Knight e6,
d7.
and yeah, well, it's
Too many pieces, yeah.
that's the problem. So 2 knights in this case, and if white would only have the pawn on e5, then it's good. But so no queen g7 for Magnus. No queen g7. Well, now they are equal on the clock, as you can see, or we can say half a minute advantage for Magnus. Second board, the position on second board looks completely equal, so I don't see our leader Fedoseev losing this one.
Yeah, I just wanted to check the statistics, how many locals are participating in the tournament, and I can see in men's section there is 12 chess players. The highest chess player is candidate master, rated 2097. And in the female section, there are only 6 players.
From Saudi Arabia.
Yes. and
We'll check later on in the tournament how they will perform. Will they increase their rating? You know.
and they don't have ratings. The only one person has. So that means that this country is just starting to play chess.
Okay, so Fishy similarly has played the move. I don't really see what he has done. Rook c7 going to d7. So he concentrates all of his forces, and he's planning on attacking the d5 pawn, it seems. Queen goes to b4, attacking the knight. Let's see. Will Vishy hold this one? What do you think? I mean, I feel like it's very hard for him to play against Magnus, and even sometimes even good positions, you know, end up in favor of Magnus Carlsen. Good positions for Vishy. So maybe today will be a day when Vishy will score. Knight b3, attacking the rook, and actually this queen feels a bit awkward. Now a7, a5 is the tempo, can be played somewhere. I'm just taking a look at Yesipenko's Swidler and can't really understand what happens in this game. Some endgame which is still very sharp. And looks like Swidler has a decent position. But okay.
I can see from the standings that Levon Aronian has 4.5 points out of 8.
So only +1 for
He was
Aronian.
not very satisfied when he was talking. I just heard it. And now I see the reason why he was not.
Yeah, so the winner of the World Cup of this year, of 2017, is not very happy with his performance. He has all the reasons.
As well as Karyakin has 4.5.
Karyakin and Aronian both on +1 only. And how about Ivanchuk? He's as well. He was on 50%, so he can't have more than +1.
Ivanchuk Vasily. He has 3.5.
3.5. So he lost. So he's on -1.
He lost the game to Adivan and draw with Kovalev in the last round.
Okay. So what happened? Oh, well. So board 2.
Probably
I think
draw?
the game is finished. It's got to be a draw. It's got to be a draw, very quick one, which is a good result for the leader, of course.
That means that he
keeps leading.
But what happens in some
No, he keeps leading because he was half a point in front of
and
the man whom he made a draw against.
It's perfect day for him, as it was yesterday.
So one more round, and we will see after round 10 if Fedoseev will still be in the lead. Something really sharp happens in Carlsen Anand. After knight b3, Magnus decided not to move the rook from c1, but instead he went for knight e6. So Vishy can take an exchange.
Took on c1.
He has taken on c1, and Magnus recaptured
with the rook.
So the rook is hanging and g7 pawn is hanging. This is probably the idea.
This bishop on b2 is
the bishop is a monster.
And time we can see that it's equal, 7 minutes for both players.
Yeah, what I can say that black would probably be fine if white would take on d8. So far, Carlsen is not going to take the rook. He really wants to take the g7 pawn, or force it to move. Like you play g6 and then you probably resign after queen c3, right? If you let this diagonal to
maybe
be
he has
open.
to. Anand has to leave the queen from 7th rank.
Like queen e8.
Yeah,
maybe.
and then captured these 2 pieces with the rook.
Yeah, I mean, so if I take on g7, yes, it's an extra piece, but now probably take Or I can
Queen
actually
C3.
still try queen c3. Yes. Can still try queen c3. Looks like it's a good idea for Magnus. I don't know if he's objectively better, but I kind of like his position. So wishes to move. He's down to 7 minutes, and he doesn't really. I mean, he's not looking satisfied with how it is going for him.
I'm looking to the females section, and I can say that all the top players, they are playing so stable games, and while we already have some results and very spicy positions in the men's section.
Yeah, and
Actually,
here
in classical, it's the opposite. Men are playing very stable, and women have some.
yeah, so it's strangely enough,
yes.
it's not that sharp as you would expect, right? No, okay, there are sharp games as well. There are sharp games, but on the very top board, yeah, it's just that, well, most of our leaders, now it's Goryachkina, Famle Thao, and Zhu Wenjun, well, they all are players of positional style, I would say. They're trying to be as solid as possible, so this explains, and maybe this partly explains why they are so successful. Because one of the possible styles in Rapid, it's just you don't do much, but you develop the pieces in a healthy
Yeah.
way, and then you take what your opponent is given.
Yeah.
Like happened in,
That's a good
so many
strategy.
games already. Okay, so finally Vishy comes up with the move knight c8. A desperate try to swap the queens. Desperate try to swap the queens. Right.
It's not b5 pawn hanging right now.
Yeah, I was trying to understand what happens if black takes, if white takes b5. Apparently he's
yeah.
taking there, and then if the knight takes...
Why not with the rook?
with the rook maybe. Yeah, so rook takes. If bishop takes, it's rook takes again,
and now it's a double
this
attack.
is hanging, which might be not the end of the line, but yeah, it is. I don't really see what to do here. It's like queen c4, we take.
No, there is queen b4. Yeah, queen b4.
Queen b4.
To
Yeah,
keep
so the
pressure
bishop
on
is
b7.
the bishop is hanging. Yeah, there is queen b4. You're right. Now, of course, if it would be trivial, the refutation of knight c8, then Vishy simply would not go for this. So it's not that, it shouldn't be that easy for Magnus. One more time. So if this happens, I was actually thinking of bishop takes, but probably I was wrong. Like bishop takes, knight d8. My point was that black takes on f3.
And
I thought the knight is trapped,
trapped.
but it's probably wrong. No, it's completely wrong, because it's a check, and at least he can take the knight on c8. Oops.
Actually, there is knight f7, queen f7, and then take on c8, and it's a mate. Or rook.
So now Magnus is those two guys, they're playing like it's a long time control game.
Yes.
It's so interesting.
I'm not sure, but what we can see is 4 minutes for Carlsen and 6 minutes for Anand.
Yeah, 4.5 for Magnus, and he still did not come up with the move. Yesipenko and Swidler, interestingly enough, the game on board 3, it's already an end game. So it's
Really?
so different. Yes, here we have like position full of pieces. Yesipenko Swidler is an end game with extra pawn for Peter Swidler, so it's only him who can win this game, but there is a fair chance it will be just a draw. We shall see. It's still, I'm still not 100% sure what will be the result here. It's position with opposite colored bishops. Pawn up for Swidler. Good chances for a draw for a young gentleman, but still hard to say. Queen takes b5. You were asking what happens after queen b5. Now we will find out. Now we
something
will find
happened.
out. 2 times rook takes d5, but yeah, we've guessed the line. And
Oh, come
queen
on, we
d4.
guessed this on a second.
And now he probably has to swap the queens. That's what I thought. And then maybe play a move like rook, I don't know, rook
We
d2.
can see the first board in the FML section just finished.
Must be a draw. If it's finished that quickly, I think
Kings are...
turn to think. Now it's Anand's turn to think here after queen b4. Because I really don't see what he has to do, to be honest. When the feeling is like he has to exchange the queens because it's his king which is worse placed. He cannot take on e6 because queen b7 and just too many threats. Ah well, actually knight e7 kind of keeps everything protected, but it's still very, very dangerous. I think white is still better. He has played knight to d6, knight from c8 to d6, protecting the bishop, protecting the c4 pawn. Interesting.
Now one has to find a nice square for knight. It can be f4 or d4.
Yeah, but I'm starting to wonder if this square exists, because after this, queen e4 might be very unpleasant. Threatening, you know what, threatening mate in 2. Queen h1 and rook d1 double mate. If knight takes, I guess, I'm not sure, queen takes maybe to avoid the check from b8, right? Queen takes, once again, it looks terribly dangerous for black. For white, pardon, of course, for white. So
But this king can escape, you know?
King f1, yes, and then even like check here.
King d...
Maybe check on first rank, check from h1 and then check from f3.
King e1?
King e1, still it's not easy, right? Check, and where do you go? Then king d2, check, king c2, and we are running out of checks. So this is what happened to me. I was giving checks without any clear idea where it is going, and yeah, ended up having no more checks. Knight c5 played by Magnus. So it's clearly a provocation. Black can take on c5 and go queen e4. Do you see the move for white? Because I don't.
King f1.
I mean, probably it's king f1.
He also said escape from c2.
He also wants to...
But there is not...
Yeah, but
knight e4, yeah, knight e4 can be happening.
There will be some issues with knight e4. So.
But of course, white is not forced to go to d2. He can stay on e2, e1.
But wait, how do you do this? Check, and then I can give a check with the bishop. I really don't understand what's that.
Oh, seriously, it's like 2 moves.
Check, I mean, it's one and only move. Check, and I take, and it's a piece up. So we are certainly missing something, because otherwise Wishy would have already gone for this. Rook takes c... He takes. Rook c5, queen c5, queen e4.
Oh my god.
Or maybe it's Magnus who missed something. Maybe it's Magnus who missed something, because...
Oh my god, yes.
And look at Vishy. I mean, this usually, when he looks at you like this, and believe me, I've been in this situation once. When he looks at you like this, yeah, it means you are in trouble, my friend. You are in trouble. No, and there is no way.
Oh my god.
There's absolutely no way to escape for this king. King f1 is... I mean, f3 is the move, but it doesn't really change
Is he
anything.
nervous now, or
It's
is he happy, or... What's going
No,
on?
Vishy is, I mean, he's a predator now. I mean, he feels the prey. He smells it. And
Oh my
and it's
God.
now it's you know, the game is still
was so terrible.
the game was still in
handshake.
progress, yeah, but it was clear. It was clear Magnus has blundered big time with this knight c5, which turns to be just a one move error after rook c5. Maybe it still wasn't that good, this either knight f4 or knight d4, but I think possibly there was...
Knight d4?
Yeah.
Actually,
What
we were analyzing... No.
We were
actually.
doing this, knight f4, queen
Why
here
not
takes...
taking on b... No. No, it's too... We don't have pieces.
takes, queen takes, yeah. Now maybe that was also bad, just, you know, we didn't spot maybe there was still some way for black to win. But the way Magnus has played it was, of course, terrible.
I think it's just the end of for Carlsen to win, the chances to win this tournament.
Not sure. How many points did he drop? So it was like 2 draws, Elianov and Swidler, and 2 losses to Anand and to Buksanji in round 1. So 3 points. So if he wins everything till the end, it will be 12. I think it's more than enough.